Right.
All right, everyone. Welcome to our April Mobilizing Huddle. Today we will be talking about building institutional relationships. I'm Blair Bergler. For those of you that don't know, I work on the Virginia Main Street team as a PA, and I'm going to be kicking us off today. So next slide, please. We are using Microsoft Teams as we have been, and we encourage you all to keep yourself muted just to help with some noise. But we would like your cameras on so that we can see your beautiful faces. And as always, we'll be recording the webinars and sharing it on the Google Drive so that team members that aren't present today can get caught up. Please use the chat feature to ask questions, and you can also raise your hand if you'd like to come off mute and chat. Next slide. This is our agenda. So please, if you're available, stick with us until noon. We definitely want to hear your thoughts during our breakout groups because that's super valuable to the rest of the cohort. So we'll start with our welcome and warm up, and then we're going to move into the meat of today's huddle, which is really digging deep into institutional relationships. And we're going to hear from an executive director from Cape Charles Main Street, Karen Zamorsky. She's going to share a little bit about establishing Main Street in Cape Charles and what's been working well with them in terms of collaborations and partnerships. Then we'll have some time for Q&A, and we'll move into breakout groups, and we'll kind of start to dig deeper about what partners our Main Streets or your Main Streets can look to collaborate with in the next couple of years as you get started. Then we'll come back as a group, have some discussion, review best practices, and we'll talk about the next 30. So if you want to go ahead, we can move to the warm up and welcome. Okay, we're going to jump into roll call. We want to first make sure that everybody's here today or that all of our communities are represented. So I'm going to go down the list of mobilizing communities in alphabetical order, and I'd like one person from each community to come off mute, tell us what community or I will tell you what community you're from, obviously, but tell us your name, and then tell us one institution or community partner that your program has worked with successfully. So let's go ahead and start with Bowling Green. If one person can go ahead and come off mute who's from Bowling Green, or if nobody's here, we'll take note of that too. Nope. All right, and if we miss you, go ahead and put it in the chat. Oh, okay, so Jessica, go ahead and you can type in the chat what your institutional partner or organization that you guys have worked with well. And then we'll move on to Front Royal.
I'm Lizzie from Front Royal.
Hi, Lizzie.
Hi.
I know. So tell us who your Main Street's partnered with well.
So our Main Street has partnered with, oh gosh, quite a few actually, which is great. So we of course have a partnership with the local government. That's my role. But we've also worked with the Chamber and with the Front Royal Independent Business Alliance. So awesome. We've worked with those folks on a couple of events as well as some other pieces of the puzzle. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. You got us started. Okay, who's from Leesburg on the call today? Aaron, I thought I saw you. You're muted.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Great. So we've made some great progress with our Parks and Rec department, and they handle a lot of permitting for major events and initiatives around town.
Fantastic. Parks and Rec. Love it. All right. Who's from Occoquan? I think I saw Jordan, but if anyone else is on, they can hop on and tell us who you've been partnering with.
Hey, yeah, I'm here. So I'm Jordan from Occoquan. We partner closely with our local government, small businesses. We partner very closely with a VFW in town. We are making connections with the Prince William County, just different business entities and nonprofits there. So we are working diligently to grow our connections.
Perfect. I love it. And who do we have from Portsmouth? Is Liz here or anyone else?
Hey, I'm here. And I think we have a couple other folks on the call. Yeah, I think the partnership has many connections out into the community that we strengthen regularly. One sort of more recent example that comes to mind, we just did a walking tour of High Street in the evening to kind of look at some of the lighting challenges. And we had a newer partner, a new relationship that we're forming with Dominion Energy. They have a new person and a new position and sort of a new point of contact for us. And it was just wonderful to kind of grow and strengthen that relationship, because we were able to walk down the street and point out areas where streetlights were either missing or broken or in some stage of repair, and expedite, like, that work has already started. And it was just so it's just our local public utility company and kind of strengthening that relationship in an effective way.
Wonderful. Looking more at our corporate potential sponsors and partners. I love it. How about in Pulaski? Who's here today from Pulaski?
Hi, I'm here. I am Sarah. There's a few others here from Pulaski too. We have been partnering with the town and the county. We've specifically met recently with the tourism department for the county. And we've been doing some stuff with the Chamber of Commerce and a few other nonprofits in the area when we host events and market festivals and things.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Rocky Mount. If someone from Rocky Mount will come off mute and tell us about a key partnership.
Hi, this is Zach, and we've got our other two on the call as well. We've got a host of corporate sponsors, but we also do a lot with the town of Rocky Mount and Franklin County, as well as a Rotary Club. One of the big things that we're known for is our Christmas festival that we put on. So we also coordinate with the Rotarians there to make it an entire weekend. We have our town Christmas parade that they put on. And so we have the town Christmas lighting and the Christmas festival that goes on the days before that. So we've got a big group of folks that we work with.
That's fantastic. I like expanding from just the local municipality to your county entity, and then also Rotary is a great partner. Salem, who's on the call today from Salem?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca Marsh. I'm joined by Tommy Miller, and let's see if there's anyone else from Salem on, and Katie Beach. And we partner really well, again, with we're a local government-led organization, so we partner really well with our other local government offices. So, the streets department, who's in charge of the events that go around downtown, and our downtown businesses, who are just incredibly engaged with all of the programming that we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on to Waynesboro. I think I saw Megan. Did I see you?
I'm here. My name is
Hello.
Megan. I'm with Destination Downtown Waynesboro, and we partner with a lot of people to make everything that we do happen. We partner very closely with Waynesboro Tourism. This is where I'm sitting right now in my office. We also partner with the library, Parks and Recreation, really closely with the Russell Museum, and all of our downtown merchants and restaurants.
Fantastic. I think the library museum were new ones for us during this conversation, so thanks for pointing those out. Woodstock. So I saw Katie and Zach, I think.
I was looking for Zach too. I also have Jen and Lacey in here with me, but we can't figure out the camera. I was gonna say I don't know that anyone said this. In addition to the chamber and all those, we have a local arts organization called Virginia Educational Center for the Creative Arts, VECA, and we partner with them. We've had art events in the past, like an art festival, kids events where they come and they're the entertainment, and just kind of consult with them on public art installations as well. And then
Awesome.
also the Rotary Club that Lacey and I are also members of. They come and they take care of our alcohol sales at our Woodstocko event, so we don't have to do it. And it's a good fundraiser for them. So
Love
it's a
it.
win-win. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for sharing. Who do we have from Roanoke? Mandy, Ben?
So I'm here from Roanoke. I'm Catherine, and I'll just go ahead and share that some of the
Thank
things that
you.
we've been doing is partnering with, of course, the city of Roanoke, but also partnering with our Arts Commission. And so that's been a big part of what we're doing with our community and some community groups and local businesses.
Wonderful. Thanks for being with us and sharing. And just to round out, Bowling Green, Jessica Beal wasn't able to get off mute, but she did note in the chat that they've been working closely with the local government and small business owners on planning some events for the summer. So we got everyone here. Thank you all so much for sharing. We'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is just a quick recap of the homework assignments that you guys have been working on since we last met. So you're working on completing your board composition matrix and identifying your human capital needs. And then reviewing your bylaws or kind of setting up drafting your bylaws. And then we had a little video for you to watch. And also if you're interested in digging deeper into the Washington Main Street Program guidelines. So as we move forward in the conversations and in the homework, we'd love for you to kind of identify and continue to think about what's working well with how you're approaching the homework assignments amongst your mobilizing team so that we can keep doing those things and keep being successful. And then we're interested, to kind of continue to explore any opportunities to add additional voices to your board or to that steering committee as we move forward within your Main Street work locally. And then, we'll continue to explore and draft and finalize all of our organization's bylaws and make sure that if there are improvements or updates that can be made based on how we're actually operating and, in practice, that we do those as we continue to grow. So next slide. Today, we're going to start transitioning from internal, how our organization or the Main Street organization is organized, who's at that table, to looking externally. So who are the partners and entities that we're pulling from that we need to make sure that we have really good relationships with. So the objectives today are understanding the critical role in institutional relationships that play in Main Street programs. And then introduce and apply demographic and community network analysis tool to assess the local government and identify key stakeholders. And I do know that a few of you have already seen it on the Google Drive. So we'll dig deeper into that, and that will be part of the homework before we meet next time. And then begin to make connections with institutional relationships and building that community network and making sure that we're able to develop a transformation strategy that is reflective of our current community and of the market. So that's the setup for today. We look forward to digging deeper, and I'm going to pass it off to Kyle.
Thank you, Blair. Yep, I'll take it from here. Thank you so much. Yeah, institutional relationships. So we're thinking a little outside your organization now, but all these people need to be at the table. One of the videos that you watched was from the Main Street America Community Evaluation Framework. So this is that self-assessment. It's that sort of true north of what you're aiming for as your program comes together. It's what we use for accreditation for our advancing Main Street communities. So standard one, and I know we're toggling back and forth a little bit. This one really addresses that broad-based community commitment to the work that you're doing. So, and we really need to emphasize that multi-sector collaboration. So that's what this particular standard focuses on. Main Street develops partnerships and collaborations with local governments that demonstrate shared responsibilities for the district's revitalization and its program. This is through strategy development, implementing projects, monetary and non-monetary resources, and engagement of elected officials and staff in the Main Street Program Board. promoting the district revitalization and their partnership with Main Street. This also goes for both nonprofits and private sector entities. So we really need to expand because it takes a lot of partners in order to actually implement the changes that you're working towards. So who are some of these institutional relationships? Of course, you've got those government agencies, both local, regional, and state. And what they offer is access to new resources, funding, human capital, policy advocacy, and collaboration. Other nonprofits provide program partnerships, funding opportunities, additional staffing, mission fulfillment, and shared resources. You also have local businesses. That's that economic vitality part. You absolutely need them in order to create an environment that helps a small business to thrive, to grow. So they can offer that stakeholder engagement, community recognition, and sponsorship opportunities. You also have community organizations, and this is really a sort of a broad catch-all for the remainder of those stakeholders, and they offer volunteer support. They also help with spreading the good news about what you guys are doing, the outreach efforts. Additional special events. You all do not need to just be the special event folks. You can have other organizations doing that in downtown while you all focus on the economic vitality. But you need those people also for increased pride and social and economic value. So that's just a snapshot of some of those partnerships that are necessary. But let's listen to some of this in practice. So we have a guest speaker today, which is always exciting. So we're excited to welcome Karen Zamorsky. She's Executive Director of Cape Charles Main Street. With over 5 years of experience leading Cape Charles Main Street, Karen oversees the program's strategic direction, management, and community partnerships. She played a key role in leading a 2020 dhcd Small Business Recovery Grant that supported 88 businesses. Karen's extensive background includes leadership roles in Fortune 500 companies, entrepreneurship, and consulting, bringing a wealth of expertise to their Main Street revitalization. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Karen so she can expound her wisdom upon everybody that's here. Karen, you on?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that so much. If you'll go first slide. So for anyone that hasn't visited Cape Charles, I feel like I won the lottery when I happened to move here and this job opened up about 2 months after I finished our house. So I have been here since that time. As Kyle said, I joined the organization in 2019. And it has been an absolute joy to work with a town of about 1,200 people. So everybody knows everybody else. So it's been a great opportunity and I've loved it. Next slide. This is our current board of directors. What we have done is when the organization was formed, they made sure that when they pulled it together, because we're such a small town, they felt it very important that we pull in members of different civic groups and other town organizational projects and committees. So we have a planning and zoning person on our board always, so that we stay connected strategically in what's happening in the town from a planning standpoint. Our town manager, that's number one. Our town manager is on our board. He is a member at large, non-voting member. However, that keeps him apprised of what's going on as they build out their strategic plan every year. We go through that with them. He pulls together a meeting where all the groups come together and we each have input to the strategic plan, and we try to align our activities and our projects to all mesh and work with each other. We have other people that are on other groups like the Civic League on our board, as well as residents. We have town council members and other businesses in town, because we not only are the quote Main Street organization, we're also the marketing arm of the town. And the town supports us with a $90,000 commitment every year for us returning that marketing work to them. Next slide. So knowing we get this money, I present to town council twice a year. So after December is our first 6 months, because our fiscal year starts July 1. And we tell them every 6 months, this is how we've spent your money. this half of the year. So I break it kind of into just 3 different sections, because not only am I supporting town council and speaking to town council in this meeting, these meetings are open to the public. So that room fills every time when there's a town council meeting on every month. And so I have at least 40 to 50 residents sitting in that room behind me as we're presenting. So I'm able to not only tell town council, this is how the money that we've gotten and the other monies we've raised has been spent, but it's also telling our stakeholders and residents, hey, here's what Main Street's been working on. So I split it by town support, the beautification projects we've done, as well as events that we've also done to help support it. Next slide. This happens to be one of my town council members' favorite slides. We talk about the grant support we've been able to bring in every year. And I've already gone through at this point the ones that we've closed out. This happens to be the ones that we've got coming up and remaining. And this is also a partnership with a lot of different organizations. In here, we have grants that we've achieved from VDC. We've gotten help from them with the arrivalist software for research, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But through dhcd, the dig grant this past year, we are using for our Strawberry Street Plaza, which we're going to be opening this weekend and doing the ribbon cutting for, which is fantastic. And in that, we had a lot of different groups come together. The Rotary Club decided, since we were going to have this beautiful new plaza, they committed to putting their new Victorian clock. They ordered a Victorian clock that will be the centerpiece of this plaza and celebrates the 100th year anniversary of the Rotary. So they participated. Drive Outdoor, we got a $10,000 grant from them, and we got the town to commit an additional $10,000 to help us get this plaza done. So several different groups came together. But we also have a very, very strong relationship with our county and our county administrators. So we get a lot of grants that support a lot of our events, because they see that as an extremely important thing for the entire shore. So they support us very, very well. So next slide, please. So I'm able to talk about the key grants and give everybody in that room an update. And you can see here in the middle on the right, kind of a schematic of what the new plaza is going to look like. It's been paved, new lights, new in all the trees, the new umbrellas, etc. It's a beautiful way for me to not only thank everybody in that room who participated, but also to turn around and speak to our residents and the people that volunteer. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Next slide. And this is where our volunteers come in. We were just talking before everybody got on that my hours, the value of the hours has actually gone up recently. So this is an opportunity for me to thank not only town council for their continued support. We have we developed a 5-year MOU with the town that automatically renews for an additional 5 years, as long as, everything continues to roll along as it has. So we don't have to go back and ask for that every year, because we know it's going to be there, which is a wonderful, relief for us. So we can obviously do better planning this way. But I'm also able to thank all the people in that room sitting behind me, because it is those people who are celebrating with us all of these great wins, because that's our volunteer pool. So it's a great time for us to talk to them about all the updates on all the projects as well. Next slide. When I say marketing of Cape Charles and what our commitment is to the town, they did not have a tourism site when Main Street started. So Main Street took on the responsibility for building a tourism site for the town. And within this site, we put the Cape Charles Main Street microsite. So we're tied together. And along the very top line on what to do, where to stay, over to the right, it'll say the Main Street Initiative. And that takes them right into the Main Street site. That is where we get more volunteers. We have our volunteer applications. It is where we also are able to have a merchandise store where we can sell our annual ornaments and things that we do as an annual fundraiser. So all of those things are contained within this site that we manage on a day-to-day basis. Next slide. Part of what we do is not just research for the town. We have access to 3 different programs. We have Placer AI that we shared with another civic group in town, the cost of, and we also have access to Arrivalist through VTC, as well as another project program called Zardigo, which gives sales data through Virginia Tourism at the Eastern Shore Virginia Tourism Office. So we are able to pull research year over year, as well as, month to month. But our goal with the town in their strategic plan was to build our shoulder season. So we're able to share not only here's how we've done that year over year, but we're also able to show how for our residents, because, they have that big blip where they can't get into a restaurant in the summer. They're starting to feel better because they're seeing how we are able to, through the research, show them these numbers are starting to flatten out more and they're spreading more into the springs and the falls. So it's research that we're able to share with our business community. We hold a monthly meeting for all of our businesses, and we share this data every month when we're with them. And we get 30 to 40 businesses on the first Monday of every month that sit in a room with us to not only have us share this info, but for them to share what projects and new events they have coming up. So it's a great win-win for all of us to come in and share together. Next slide. And in the social media, not only do we handle the website for the town, the tourism site, we have built and handle all of their Facebook and Instagram pages. So whenever they've got things that they want to share, they let us know what they would like to share. And I'm able to keep them abreast when we do our regular reports. And we meet once a month and share this every month, but how those social media sites are doing and how we're handling those. Next slide. This is the town council's probably favorite slide of all, because there are, so many groups involved and Main Street gets a good chunk of funding. We want them to know and understand exactly what they're getting in return for every dollar they spend with us. So the first half of the year is a little bit difficult sometimes to show, because of the way grants work. And I think everybody knows a lot of them are reimbursement grants. So sometimes your financials look a little bit off because you're spending money before you get the money back. So the way I show them is for the first half of the year, the $45,000 they gave us, I take that number and then I take the number of all of the grants that we've already closed during the first 6 months. I take the profit from the events that we've already held in the first 6 months and all the donations we've received from any other fundraising efforts. That's all I use. And then I do the calculation to show them what the return on investment was for every dollar. And at this point, after the first 6 months of this fiscal year, they're getting a 326% return on every dollar they spend with Main Street. So they feel very, very good about it. So if there is ever a way for all the residents and all the town council and everybody to come together and be able to see, wow, we get so much back, it just proves the value of Main Street as well as strengthens our relationships with all of the different groups. Next slide. And then we always end it with what's coming up. We have our big 5K, 10K run coming up on Saturday morning. And at noon, we'll be doing the ribbon cutting for the plaza. So everybody will have a large group. We have 400 runners coming in on Saturday. So we're all excited about that. So they'll all get to share in the beautiful new plaza. And we'll be able to also have one of our other big relationships is with our local chamber. And they're holding their annual Chamber Fest in Cape Charles. They have the last couple of years, and that brings another 1,500 to 2,000 people in for a concert on a Saturday prior to our season opening. So it's also shoulder season. So it's a fantastic relationship that we have at the chamber. But overall, I think we've tried to really spread our relationships out. We use the Civic League to do our walking tours for one of our walking tours. And they had a lot of fun doing it. And we enjoyed having another group go out and do that work for us. So overall, I think we've been very successful in that relationship building. And we're at a point now where I think we can really make the most of it. So I'm happy to take any questions, or anybody wants to contact me, just email me.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Man, That's quite a lineup there, and I love seeing how you all create value. You know, certainly most of all for your municipality being one of your major funders, but really just showing even your partners how this can work. Now we have like a minute or two. Does anybody have a direct question for Karen? Otherwise, we're gonna go out in some breakouts in just a minute. Any questions for Karen? And like she said, there's a we can get you in touch with her, and we've really encouraged seeing the possible, and reaching out to the whole network. So, all right. Well, if you don't have any questions right now, thank you, Karen, and please stick around. Maybe they will later on as we get into some of the other activities. Thank you. So we're going to do a breakout. And I've got you all split up here. And this is an appreciative inquiry, really kind of looking at you all reflecting on one of your most successful partnerships. So in the breakout groups, you guys will have about 10 minutes to share a story. And you're sharing a story about your most exciting collaboration with institutional partners to support your Main Street program at whatever level you're at right now. We know that some of you guys are, moving along. You have a formal program already, like Leesburg. Some of you are just getting it started, like Bowling Green. But wherever you are, you've got a good story to tell at this point. But think of a time like a planning session, a vision workshop, or a community event, whatever it might be, any of your projects, when you felt most engaged and energized. What made it exciting? Who was involved, and what roles did they play? What key factors led to that success? How did partnerships enhance the process and outcomes? So what we're going to do is break into the groups. We've got the Virginia Main Street team and Doug, our essential partner here, to facilitate the conversations. Are there any questions at this point about what we're doing for the next 10 minutes? Pretty darn clear. All right. So we're going to break out in the breakout groups. Anybody that's left over that doesn't end up in a room will be in the main room with me, and I will facilitate it from there. But here we go. Let's see how this goes. Technology, I always am very suspect about it. Let me just double check, make sure everybody's assigned. One person is not. I'm going to put you in room 2. And then we're good. Sorry, I'm narrating every movement here, huh? All right, now I'm opening rooms. Oh, it worked out. I knew I'd have a few people left over. That's good. Awesome. And Karen stuck around this group, so you guys get the special guest. All right. Well, here we are. We got 10 minutes. Let's see. It is 11:33. So I just want to note about 11:45, 11:43. So the question, second here. Okay, the question again, share a story about one of your most exciting collaborations with institutional partners to support your Main Street program. Think of a time like a planning session, visioning workshop, or a community event. It could be anything, any project. When you felt most engaged and energized. What made it exciting? Who was involved, and what roles did they play? What key factors led to the success, and how did key partnerships enhance the process and outcomes? Who's feeling like they're ready to go? Erin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, happy to start. I mentioned this earlier, but we have had a really successful collaboration with our Parks and Rec department, and they put on a lot of our town festivals and kind of larger events throughout the year. And one of the programs they started during COVID that a lot of towns and cities did is an extended kind of sidewalk dining program. Okay. So they, just allowing the restaurants to put tables on the streets, and one block of like our kind of main street in town is actually closed down to traffic. And we had the opportunity to table, on the street during one of the programs, and started asking, why can't the retailers on that block have similar setups? And the initial answer was no, because it was just for dining. But we actually worked with Parks and Rec and then our town events manager to kind of have a larger meeting just on event permitting in general, and just kind of, just because they've done it certain ways in the past doesn't mean that we can't kind of help them evolve, how they're kind of running these events. And we made sure to bring in kind of our town compliance officer for ADA compliance, to make sure that she was in the loop. And we actually just got it approved for the dining program this year for retailers to have setups on the street as well. So I think what made it successful is that we, didn't just kind of like take the answer as no and then just kind of cross our arms and complain, and then, but we kind of had a bit of a, kind of come to Jesus, if you will, on, events overall, and positioned it as, it's just, allowing the program to grow with support of our organization.
Gotcha. So what was the event again? It was just open dining. Do you have a name for it? How's it branded?
So that's a funny question. So it's technically called the Extended Sidewalk Dining Program.
Okay.
We pitched to have a little jazzier name, like Eats in the Streets kind of thing. That wasn't super well received, so we're still working on that. But yeah, it's every Friday in the spring and summer, then kind of creeps into the fall that they close down the main section of the street. So yeah.
Love it. That's great. Let's hear from anybody else. John, you ready to go? Either one of you, whoever's ready. Unmute. There we go.
Was saying, I think the challenge with Leesburg is that they are very set in their ways and their traditional thinking. So we're trying to get them to think more outside the box, and simply a good example with the name, right? The name to them came out of a COVID program, so the name has to stay that way because it was a COVID program. There's very little thinking of doing things differently. So we're hoping to change that. But yeah, you're spot on, Aaron.
You may have not heard the entire question that we're talking about here, John. I don't know. Were you in earlier?
No, I wasn't.
I'm catching you off guard.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. That's all right. So here's the deal. Share a story about your most exciting collaboration with institutional partners to support your Main Street program. Think of a time like a planning session, visioning workshop, or community event when you felt most engaged and energized. What made it exciting? Who was involved? And what roles did they play? What key factors led to the success? How did partnerships enhance the process and outcomes? If you're not ready to answer that, we've got Pulaski here too, but
yeah, go for it. And I'll chime in.
Cool.
So you want me to go ahead?
Yeah. Go, Sarah.
All right. So actually it's funny. This morning I met with the tourism department for the county. And in the past, we've never really done much with the tourism department. I mean, they see our ads on Facebook, we see theirs. So I reached out to them and was like, this, we're working for the same thing in different ways. We've got to start doing more stuff together. So we just kind of had a little, I don't know that you'd call it a planning session. It was more of a vent session of here's all the things that we're doing and need help with. How can I help you and how can you help me? It was very exciting to see the different ways that we could kind of intertwine our jobs and our events and our broadcasting, whether it be social media or whether it be setting up tables at different events going on in the county. When, working together in those things, because tourism, obviously their big thing is getting people into the county, and the festivals and markets and stuff that our Main Street program does, then we should be helping each other to bring more people into the festivals and stuff.
Sure.
So I don't have huge answers to how it led to success, because like I said,
It's
brand
early.
new, that I just did this morning.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to you on that part, but I do see it being very successful. I do see it being a good partnership moving forward and
Yeah.
working together.
Well, ultimately, what do you think was the result? Like, how did people walk away from this meeting? Did they feel like they had shared, that they were on the same page about a vision?
One of those like
Event
light
or
bulb moments
activity?
where yes, we were like, duh, why haven't we done this in the past?
Yeah.
We talked about there is a smaller market going on at a like a little homestead store around here, and it's just the first Saturday of every month. And we were kind of saying, okay, there's no need in all of us having to work all these Saturdays. Let's get together and form a committee just for this specific reason. And then, one Saturday you take it, one Saturday I take it, and blah, 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 blah. So that we're all kind of sharing the love and being able to still get the word out there. And so I think that is going to be a key factor that leads to success.
Gotcha.
In events that like, hey, I can't be there this Saturday, instead of our Main Street program just getting ignored, I know that I have other people with the tourism department that's like, hey, we're setting up a table, we got it,
Yeah.
So I'm excited
Got
for
some
that.
shared responsibilities in there.
Yes.
Good.
Which I
Good.
think everybody was happy about.
Perfect. John, we don't have that much time, but is there anything that came to mind while you were listening and sort of understood the conversation a little more?
Yeah, no, I think our Last Away project that we received the grant for from Virginia Main Street, the Community Vitality Grant, I think it's been a great partnership with the town's Parks and Rec department and the council in general, honestly. Them being able to see the vision and giving us the resources to really explore how we can make it a reality has been key there. This has been a long-standing idea for them for over 20 years. So to be able to get that initial grant, I think spurred their interest and said, hey, maybe we can actually make it go of this and make it actually happen now, once and for all. So I think the fact that the Leesburg movement took the initiative to get the grant and to present a plan to them sort of made the legwork on their part less, and they were able to see the vision, right? When somebody got the ball started and the ball rolling, it was less onerous on their part, less of a lift. So I think that's kind of what Main Street's all about, right? Starting that process or getting that momentum going and to sort of convince other people that it could work.
Yeah, it was also a really good project to take on very early in the program development. I mean, right off the bat, you guys were able to show value. So a really strong start.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's not an easy win, but an early win, I would say, to say, like, hey, we're serious about what we're doing and we want to make it happen.
Yeah, good. Well, I can't wait to see that. I haven't been up there in a little while.
Oh, it'll be
All
great.
right. Anything anybody wants to add? Otherwise, I got to close it down and we all go back. 10 minutes goes freaky fast, doesn't it? So much to do and so little time. Let's see, I'm gonna get rid of that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get everybody back here. See you in the big room. Well, you guys aren't gonna go anywhere. You're just gonna stay right where you are.
So like, oh, whoops. That's interesting.
I tell you, if only we could just stay in breakout sessions and
I know.
Jeez, where does all the time go? Well, let's see, almost everybody's back. This is good. I know you guys probably just getting into some really good stories to tell. know that we had slides for every single one of the breakout groups. Each of the facilitators, the VMS team, were scribing, so everybody will be able to go back and kind of see whatever we are not able to address in this key discoveries conversation at this point. But it's so exciting to hear these success stories and understand in a very tangible way all of those elements that go into play for that success. So I'm curious, from what you guys heard, what do you see as the key elements of those strong partnerships? What led to the success? What are those elements? So anybody want to pipe up and share a little bit of what they discovered in their time together? Raise your hand. I can call on you.
I think you should call on. I think you should call on Megan Swanson from Waynesboro.
Megan. Uh-oh, somebody just threw you under the bus. It must hurt.
I don't know why, because it was I guess what I shared. We are having our Virginia Street Arts Festival for the first time that we're hosting it, and for the first time in a long time. And we have so many sponsors or partnerships through the dhcd, which we wrote a grant for. Downtown Merchants, the Arts Center, Parks and Rec, the library. They're doing community art projects, guided mural tours for existing artwork. The city has helped us with purchasing supplies for artists. My neighbor is housing an artist that's coming in from out of state. It is the River, one of our downtown restaurants, is having a outdoor party that day on the block that one of the murals is being painted on. It's an entire downtown that has come together to make this huge festival take place in the entire downtown. And I also got the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts to bring their Artmobile, and the Library of Virginia to bring their mobile library, so we can have a little museum trailer park. The farmers market is partnering with us. It is seriously the entire city. It's gotten so much attention. I think it's gonna be super successful.
Yeah. Good. I think you guys, how long have you guys been doing this street art festival?
It started in 2014. This is the first year we've ever done it. So we took it over
you guys
from the
taking it
people.
over.
It was kind of smaller, and I took it and wrote a grant and have run with it.
That's amazing. What do you think is absolutely essential to moving this forward? So you guys are a municipality. You're taking over an existing event and running with it. Before you even have your even set up for the event and all the planning and everything that comes first, what do you think is that key element that has to happen for a successful partnership?
I mean, I want to say money.
Well,
that's more than anything, but it's having people that are actually, it's the people that are willing to do the work to write the grant. Like we were talking about in our group, kind of like knock on doors. It's face to face. Like I know every single merchant personally and how to talk to them and deal with them. It's just about people and getting them to buy into, this is what I had in my head, and we all have to do something to make it happen.
Yeah. So there's probably a shared vision. Like they see the result. They understand what you're trying to achieve. So by seeing that, then you can more easily sort of earn the buy-in. Am I interpreting that right?
And it's also, it's only been 3 years that we've gotten really kind of organized and doing more things, and it's seeing like how things have gone up to this point and success that we've had with other things that we've done, that people are like, yes, they can do this, and it's going to be like well run, well managed, and have the results that we want. So
good.
it's really, I think it's going to be super for downtown, and I hope we can continue to do it every year and make it even bigger.
Great. Thank you, Megan. How about one more? Yeah. One more. Somebody raise their hand. Use that little button. Let's hear. This is a success story, so you know you're energized to tell it. Let's hear about all the elements that really made your project, your connection there work. All right, VMS team, did you hear a story that, can you throw somebody under the bus? I give you full reign here. If you heard a story in your breakout group, throw that person under the bus. Get them up here. Help them push that raise hand button.
I'm going to call on Bowling Green to talk about their partnership. The city councilwoman.
I was afraid that might happen.
Yay, Jessica. Good.
I was just saying that Bowling Green is still super new to all of this.
Yeah.
I just got involved with Main Street in general this past August. So still learning the ropes, but I met with a member from our town council yesterday and just had a really encouraging meeting and talking about the Main Street program, what it's meant to do, how council can support us, how we can support council. And it was just really encouraging. Like I said in our breakout, that there was no groundbreaking discoveries that came out of it, but just to know that there's somebody who gets what we're trying to do was really exciting. So I know that that's not the case for all of our council members, so I'm hopeful that she can help sort of relay our vision and help us with casting that to them. But it was good.
Good. Thank you, Jessica. Well, I encourage you guys to continue to reflect on these questions and even talk to the rest of your team about it if they're not here, and really think about what are those key elements? Who was there? How did some of these successful partnerships get ramped up, sort of building credibility and finding those shared resources and actually utilizing them? These kinds of success stories and reflection can really help with momentum and finding those solutions that you guys are looking for. So I know we're just scratching the surface, and man, I think that we could probably just have done this whole section by itself for the entire, 75 minutes. But here's some key pieces to think about. So why do these private-public partnerships matter? One, they foster collaboration for revitalization success. You absolutely need them. One organization can't do all the work, because with those combined strengths, you're going to have that greater impact for financial resources, sourcing expertise and the skills that you need, in-kind contributions as far as volunteer or donating services. And this is also going to help with boosting legitimacy for your program. It's going to help for people to open their eyes and see what is possible and the value that you bring to an economic development need. And some of these keys to these successful partnerships. I'm hearing this in just what we were talking about, that shared vision. You have to align some common goals and have those mutual benefits. Be very aware of the comprehensive plan or downtown master plan and some of those economic development needs that are on the books. And how can we help, as a Main Street program, help to make those happen? Make sure that some of those other leaders are at the table when you're doing visioning for Main Street, so that there is a common vision and you guys are aiming towards the same outcome. So you also want to have some clarity and commitment around that partnership. So this just touches on agreements. So it's encouraged that Main Street and local government have an agreement, especially if there's going to be financial resources provided. So we highly recommend that you develop an agreement that addresses things like the purpose, the duration. These are all sort of contractual language here. How long is that partnership going to be? How does the governance work? What are those outcomes? If you have shared visions, you must have some key outcomes that you're aiming towards. And if that partnership doesn't work, what do those exit plans look like? if you're not being accountable to each other. So some sort of agreement, we've got lots of samples of those. And just know that all of these partnerships, it's an investment of time and effort. It's a long-term process. I think, talking around Main Street, it takes a good amount of time to really start seeing the results. And there are some council members who have a very limited term, and they want to see those results right away. And even the public wants to see those results from Main Street right away. You have to certainly be clear about how this works, and that revitalization and these changes in downtown aren't instantaneous. It's a long-term process. There is no quick fix. So in order to get there a little more quickly, these are just some best practices. Identify that common ground. What are Main Street's needs with financial, mission, vision, and volunteers? And as far as your partners who you want to bring in here, what is that public purpose? How does it benefit your partners? What does that exposure look like? And what are those expectations? We want to spread the word about these great partnerships that are going to happen. And so you want to engage those public officials, help them to advocate. You heard Karen really advocating for the program, expressing that return on investment. You want to always educate them about what you have going on. Quarterly presentations at council, whatever it might be, and then network strategically. And that means, having those coffee breaks with a council member. Make sure that they're even outside of those more public engagements, that you're doing some relationship building in some smaller venues. So some of those principles for success to remember: prepare properly, so do some planning, create that shared vision. You want to clarify those risks and rewards, sort of know what that return on investment is that you're aiming for, and then ensure that the leadership is going to show up, communicate consistently, and with all of that, that trust will build. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully that sort of sums up some of the stories that you guys heard. I'm going to have to jump off in a minute, but before I do that, and there will be a chance to talk about this a little bit more, I want to get you guys set up for your homework. Because you're going to have a little bit of research to do. It's not going to be too arduous, but it's going to take some time and commitment. So one of the partners that we've worked with over the years, Community Heart and Soul, they help communities through a grassroots effort to do some planning. So Community Heart and Soul is created by the Orton Family Foundation. It's a resident-driven process that engages the entire population of a town in identifying what they love most about their community, what future they want for it, and how to achieve it. So with all that, they have to have some tools that help to bring everybody together. So in this diagram, which kind of cracks me up, I won't go into how people see this. It's kind of funny. They could have chosen different colors. But in this diagram, you can see, so we've got some underrepresented people over here on the right, and you've got some of those common groups that are often present at board meetings, or their voices are heard in planning sessions. So underrepresented is everybody that's not necessarily getting a voice yet. So you can see that Pete is connected to the arts community and is the only one who knows Beth. Beth is part of a group that doesn't often get heard, but she has a trusted relationship with Pete. So to engage community members like Dave and Frank, who are over there in the underrepresented groups, Beth becomes the connector for Pete. So the whole point of bringing this up is that we've got to be intentional about these relationships and finding those connectors, even for those folks that aren't always showing up. We need to find a way to get those who aren't represented to be represented. So Community Heart and Soul has a tool. It's called a community network analysis. And part of doing that well is demographics. So it's a powerful tool for understanding who lives, works, and plays in your community and how to best reach them. It's meant to be used repeatedly. So this is a living document to identify project leadership, partners in general, and any participants, even at a volunteer level. So it's a stakeholder analysis. It's helping you to really look at what these networks look like and who needs to be part of them, how people communicate, and help integrate into your intentionality a little bit more information so you can increase the chance of success. It's designed to be done in steps, some that can be tackled in a single meeting, some that require multiple meetings, or some that are intended to be revisited depending on how you are using it in a project. But let's go ahead and look at it. But it helps you identify those relationships and gaps and can inform strategic planning for for Main Street programs. So there are two tools that you have in your community folder. It's called the CNA, the Community Network Analysis. There are two tabs. You've got a demographics tab, and you've also got the community network analysis. Let me go on to the next page there. Pardon me. So what you're going to do first is you're going to fill in the demographics tab to explore your community's demographics. And there's links there. Data.census.gov can help you look at what your demographics look like. It's important to look at this because you know who lives in your community in a broad swath kind of way. And you want to make sure that each of those groups are represented. That even means that this is a great tool for thinking about what does your board look like if it's going to be represented. You want to be sure that your board looks a lot like your demographics. So you want to look at those breakdown of your population. So fill out that demographics tab so that you have that snapshot. And you can at least have that sort of launching point to be sure that your community network analysis is thorough. So then begin to fill in the community network analysis tab to get to know your community and how to connect with them. And as a networking tool, it prompts your team to actively reach out to and connect with all demographics and community groups in your town. So this is the first tab that I was telling you about. This is what it looks like: income, age, gender, residency, race, and ethnicity. You're going to be able to go and use that link and just type into this column here represented in your community, to be able to capture some of that information, fill in the percentages and what that looks like. And then this is the community network analysis tool. You want to do a group brainstorm to think about your different stakeholders. Each community is different. So you're going to be looking at local government, property owners, business owners, faith communities, renters, whatever it is. I mean, you guys want to be as thorough as possible in looking at your network. You want to then check it against your demographics. In all the brainstorm that you did about all your potential partners, looking at your demographics, is everybody represented? And then you do your connectors. So you've got your step 2 demographic crosscheck. Step 3 is your group connectors. So identify names of the people in the community who are connectors to those different groups. Who are some of those key people that you should know? Step 4 is communicate, and this has 2 parts. Where in your community do you see this group? At meetings, at school events, in their businesses, whatever it might be. And where can you find this group and how can you reach out to them? So how do they communicate? So this is a living document. You're going to do your best to get it as filled out as possible. It's going to help you strategize, but you're probably not going to be done within this first month. But this is something you want to hold on to and you want to continually use. This is going to help you to be as thorough as possible. I'm going to stop there and stop sharing. And I'm going to hand this off to Amy to wrap up and learn a little bit about how these tools are going to be used and some of the services that you're going to have moving forward. I'm going to be on, but I've got to move on to another meeting. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And Amy's going to pick off from where I left off. So thanks, Amy. And you guys enjoy the rest of your meeting. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kyle. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Blair. So we're going to touch quickly on market-based transformation strategies. These are really going to be the heart of your work as a Main Street organization. And the community network analysis is one of the first steps to develop this community and market-driven Main Street program transformation strategy. You will receive a Main Street America service in the fall that will help to focus and channel ideas towards creating your fully realized transformation strategies. So you're going to see this graphic a lot. A transformation strategy essentially guides a district's revitalization in this initiative and is based on a solid understanding of your district's economy and its position in the regional market. The service from Main Street America will look at relevant background materials. It will include focus groups from prominent stakeholder groups in the community, asset mapping, a community survey, and demographic and market data. That will include the trade area, buying power, leakage, all that good stuff. So as you can see here, it really takes the community vision as well as market understanding to create one or a few transformation strategies. And those get applied across all the 4 points. When you talk about the 4-point approach, we mean design, organization, promotion, and economic vitality. And those help create the quantitative outcomes and qualitative outcomes that we see. Kate Charles is a great example of really showing the outcomes that they get from this. The service will also include some potential implementation ideas that you could use for your identified transformation strategies. So it'll give you some ideas for work across all 4 points as well. Let's see. So these are some common examples of transformation strategies. Again, these are based on the market and community data for your specific community. And again, it will include sample activities as well that you can consider using in your future work plans. So really, it's just meant to help you strategize and refine the work that your organization will be doing as a Main Street. And this is just an example of how it can be applied across the 4 points. So if you have tourism as a transformation strategy for design, you could look at doing a wayfinding system. Organization could be fostering a regional tourism coalition with partners. Promotion could be developing a guide for local attractions, and economic vitality could be creating a visitor survey to get feedback. So this is just kind of an example to show you that you'll be doing work in all 4 of those buckets with your transformation strategy. And then we're going to touch quickly on the next 30 days and what is coming up. So key takeaways are building a strong institutional partnership is critical to a Main Street program success. So definitely keep doing all that great work. Tools like the demographic and community network analysis will provide really valuable insights for your work as well as for the transformation strategy. And they are, again, the foundation of a successful transformation strategy. So really take the time to fill that out. Think about those underrepresented groups and who should be at the table. So the assignments for this next month, you're going to read that community network analysis workbook found in the April Huddle folder. You will complete your first draft of that analysis. Again, it's in your community folder. It is a living document, so you're not going to just be one and done with it. You're going to continue to update it as needed. And again, we have our Rev Up coming up, and this will serve as our huddle for May. So we won't have a virtual huddle next month, just this in-person Rev Up. Please make sure you register for it. You can go to any 3 of these locations, whatever works best for you. And for Mobilizing, we will be having a See the Possible tour after the Rev Up. So you will get to connect with an Advancing Main Street and kind of get some information about what has been going well for them and some advice there. So just note that you will be sticking around till 4, not until 3. Digging deeper, again, the Washington Main Street Program Guide has great information, and it's just a great toolbox about typical Main Street program partners. Upcoming events, again, we're going to emphasize the Rev Up here. And just keep in mind the See the Possible tour afterwards from 3 to 4. So wear comfortable shoes, things like that. Our next huddle, virtual huddle, will be June 18th, and it'll be making the case for support at our typical time. And again, fall, we kind of teed it up here, but fall will be when we start doing this market-based transformation strategy services with Main Street America. So we'll begin scheduling those sometime in late summer, I believe. Do we have any questions about anything today? Questions for Karen? Questions about the network analysis, the transformation strategies?
I have a
can't
quick
see-
question from Portsmouth. Can you just help define community a little bit more specifically? Like, are we talking about proximity to the downtown area we're focusing on? Are we talking citywide? Are we talking with more of a regional lens?
So I would say all of the above. You kind of want to start maybe with your core downtown stakeholder groups, and then kind of expanding out from there. They want to have some kind of stake in the downtown community, but you definitely want to include the broader community and regional partners as well. So you can start with the local downtown and then kind of expand from there.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anything we need more clarity for? All right, seeing none, that is all we have for you all today. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. Again, we'll see you at the Rev Up next month, and then June we'll resume our regular huddles. This time is meant for anyone who wants to stick around and ask questions, network, please do so. If not, you're free to go at this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Of course. Thank you for being here, Doug.
I put my notes in there. If you have any trouble, let me know. Yeah.
Okay, this should be good. I see we've got some people left over. Is there anything particular anyone would like to discuss while we're all here? Free time.
Thank you for hosting. This was really informative.
Great, thank you.
Doug, it's always good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Heather. I'm surprised I don't see you more. Yeah.
I was just going to say the same thing. I was like, we should be ships passing more often. Sometimes I see you at a way distance and I don't want to be a total creeper. Like, Doug!
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you all for this. Was a great session. Lots to learn and think about with our group here in Roanoke. So excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing you more through this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll get to at least see you here.
Yeah. Great.
Y'all have a great rest of your day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Take care.
as well.
Bye.
Thanks for backing me up, Blair. I don't know why my Teams decided to crash as soon as I started filling that out.
No worries. And Amy said it way better than I typed it, so she might have to respond to her question better. We did it.
Everyone. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but good job.
It sounds like you're
I
underwater,
can hear
Courtney.
you. Yeah,
Wah,
it's just
wah,
sound
wah,
like
wah, wah. Like Charlie Brown's teacher.
I still see a bunch of people online. Is that just a glitch?
that might just be you. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's weird. Okay.
Should we stop recording? Is Kyle doing that?
I
Because
don't
we're
know
doing
how to
all
stop
this.
recording.
He said
I
that
think
he
he-
was.
Oh wait, I did it.
Oh.
I got it, I think.
I just always close up